Good day, activators. It's Laurent Ashlam. Today, we are back on season 3 of Activated Talks, and you will be surprised on the topic that we have to kickstart the year with. And I think Brendan have to break the yoke there for us, please.
Yeah. All activators, it's Brendan in the cut, and welcome back to another episode of Activated Talks. Today we are joined by CHALO, CHAINDA, and this episode is based on the Namibia Sports Commission and the role it plays in the Namibia sports scene. But firstly, I would like you, CHALO, to introduce yourself and give us a brief background of who you are.
Thank you very much, Brendan, and thank you to UNAM Radio for having invited us here. CHALO CHAINDA is the marketing and communication professional for the Namibia Sports Commission. I handle all the day-to-day activities that constitute the brand of the Sports Commission itself, the activities that we engage in terms of communication with our stakeholders. Those are some of the key issues that I handle. I'm the person that is behind the Namibia Annual Sports Awards and most of our projects. I manage those as I'm the project and director or the director for those projects where we reward our athletes. And also, those are some of the things that I do. That's CHALO CHAINDA.
That's quite amazing. Before we actually dive into the entire discussion based on the organization, would you kindly please just give us a brief on what exactly is Namibia Sports Commission about?
Yes, Namibia Sports Commission is an organization that is enacted by Act of Parliament. That's Act number 12 of 2003. Now, our role is to ensure that we facilitate the development of sport in the country. And more so, our role is on regulating sport in the country, assisting our federations. You name all the federations that are constituted from football, volleyball, soccer, you talk of rugby, all these federations, whether it's swimming, they resort as members of the Sports Commission. Now, we assist them in terms of, for example, when they are traveling outside. In fact, the Sports Commission, before an athlete or before an organization hosts an international event or participate in an international event, they need to apply to the Sports Commission, being the regulator of sport and administer. We are there to foster and to ensure that opportunities for everybody that gets involved in the sport is given.
That is quite interesting.
Yeah, that's our role. So federations, for example, football, when they went to participate at AFCON, they have to apply to the Sports Commission so that they are accorded national colors. Now, national colors, you talk of the regalia that the athletes will be wearing. You talk of the track suits, you talk of the formal suits, the blazers that they have, so that then we have record. And we also issue certificates for those athletes that participate, so that as you retire, you want to also show your grandchildren and your grandkids that I was I once represented my country. So that process have to be it's ensured by the Sports Commission as part of the Act. We also make sure that we assist them in terms, for example, when they are visiting or traveling, the flights. You'll agree with me, it's very expensive to send a team of more than 30 people outside the country. At times we take teams that are more than close to 200 members that goes and represent this country. So that's our role. We ensure that financials are available, the food that they eat there, their clothing, it's availed, all the other issues that have to do with a national team. Medical insurance is taken care of when a team is outside the country. And more so, ensure that we make sure that the national colors are accorded to them as well. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Not only that, another aspect is the legal aspect, where we assist. Within the Sports Commission, we have what we call the Appeals Committee. So we ensure that there's also harmony within the federations. Federations need to talk to each other, whether it's executives that are there, serving the federation. For example, I'll take an example of boxing. And not that there's any issues there. Say, for example, there's problems in boxing and the executives are fighting. You would reckon with me that when the executives are fighting, the athletes will get affected.
Exactly.
Also, as you go to the saying, when the elephants fight, who suffers? Is the grass.
The grass, exactly.
So it's another aspect that we ensure that we talk to the federation, compliance in terms of the act, in terms of their own constitution, that they are in compliance with their constitution. So that's a role that we also play.
Wow. I don't know about you, but my medulla oblongata is getting activated at this moment. I mean, wow. Some of these organizations that we keep ignoring, I think they have a lot to say, and maybe there are certain things that they really do that we don't really know about. Like, I didn't really know that is the activity or the responsibility that NSC is given. Quite interesting right there. I think we have witnessed that Namibia constantly punches above its weight in certain sports on the global stage, right? What are the secrets to this success, and how can it be replicated in other areas, perhaps?
Thank you. A very good question. I think naturally that's why we are known as the land of the brave.
Come on.
We've got that that in ourselves as Namibians.
Yeah.
As small as we are in terms of the numbers as a country, but I think we have that talent that is there. So we just need to untap that talent and support and give, build on the talent that we have as Namibians. I think and you are very much right. I'm happy that we are starting the year with this very podcast talking about sport. Given that we are also in a fever for football. And where we came as one of the force to be reckoned with at the AFCON.
No, we made history by that.
And this is history, and I'm happy that you're asking me that question. But it goes down. If you look at the qualification, for example, for football, for Namibia Football Association, or the Brave Warriors getting into the qualification for AFCON, we were in a very tough group. Beating a team like Cameroon. Playing with Mali. Those qualifications, it was not an easy one.
It wasn't.
And especially against all odds, given the issues of facilities that we don't have, the infrastructure, the stadiums that are not, accredited by FIFA and CAF. So you can see, I think what I should applaud our athletes and the officials that are involved in some of these sporting codes. And it's not only in football. You go to hockey, it's the same thing. Namibia, we are just coming from Oman now. Our team went into Oman and we came 10th in the World Cup in Oman.
10th?
Across all. We actually played with the US. And we drew the first game, I think the second game with the US, we got 6-2. It's a big nation. They have quality. We have the least little players that we have. So I think what builds us is we are hungry. We come in there as athletes, ensuring that we are putting our nation on the highest level, competing against the world best. So what we just need to do from the side of government is to ensure that we create a conducive environment where athletes are able to be supported. But it also goes a long way. It cannot only be government that is doing these things. When you look at infrastructures like stadiums, they are costly to put together. So it cannot only be government, but yes, government must assist, but we also need, because the government can build 2 or 3 stadiums. We need more of those ones from the private sector, from the local authorities, for example, from the town councils within different towns of this country, so that they get involved. We need to hold this thing together, because if you look at other countries, the sport can contribute towards employment creation in the country, and it can ultimately go to the GDP. The HHP, Harambee Prosperity Plan, talks about 2.5% of the contribution of sport. So it goes down the line that we can only achieve that when and I'm happy that we are at UNAM here.
Exactly.
There is where we need to invest into the education of our athletes. And here, I'm glad that we have a program already in place at the Sports Commission. We have signed an MOU with NSFAF. And the NSFAF, we have an MOU with them where athletes or people that are involved in sport, whether it's administrators, can apply for study loans under that agreement with the Sports Commission, and they study sports-related disciplines. So we want to see collaboration between the University of Namibia, agreements being signed between the University of Namibia and the Sports Commission, so that when you talk about the academia at UNAM, you need to not only I know there's sports management here, but that's not the end. So if you look at the performance, and I salute our athletes that they are able to outperform and play against the best. And sometimes we from the outside, we demand a lot and we expect a lot from the athletes, not knowing what they go through. An example of a team for South Africa, they have a sports nutritionist with them. They have a sports psychologist within the team. They have a dietitian who deals with the food. They have somebody who deals with the biokinetics, just to make sure that the athlete is prepared.
Well organized.
So this is well organized. And you can see the creation of employment already there.
Exactly.
Just in that. So this is what we need to replicate. Look at other nations. How are they doing it way better? South Africa remained at that cup. It's investing into those athletes.
That's amazing.
Let's not expect the athletes to do more when we are not investing in them.
I think one of the things which you just mentioned, which caught my attention, is the fact that did you say NSC is in partnership with
Yes.
NSFAF
Yes.
to sort of have like there's a MOU there.
Yes, we got an MOU.
To sort of like help athletes to get fundings in terms of they want to go take their athlete careers to a whole different level.
Yes.
I'm not quite sure. I don't know if I'm not so exposed to a lot of information. Is this publicized?
It is publicized. If you go on our website, we do have it. We also do campaigns. So we are starting now in the year. The applications at NASFAF are open. We just sent through a communication to the line minister of education, higher education, so that we can then improve on what we have had already. We were given a slot of 36 loans over a period of 3 years. We are doing a review now so that we can include postgraduate studies to be included also, so that at least we can have people who can study at master's level into those different areas.
Amazing.
We want to see Namibians doing sports architecture where they are able to build our own stadium here.
Exactly.
You can't build a home by bringing outside experts. At one stage, 33 years, 34 years down the line after independence, we want to have Namibians in control with the land management and maintenance of our own stadium, so that at least we are able to take our own destiny in our own hands. So those are some of the things that we want to encourage with the university, so that when they introduce, I know it's going to be difficult, but they need to introduce little by little, so that we have other courses in the exception of sports management. Let's have those courses that talks about management in sport, because sports is a package. It's not only one person. If you look at a country like Jamaica, who is this athlete? Usain Bolt employs about 97 staff members. This is one athlete.
Wow.
So you talk about people that are in management, in branding, marketing. They are doing marketing for sports. But we also have medical doctors, those who are in biokinetics. They will have gyms and all those. Exactly. Those are facilities that he has. And it goes down to ensuring that they say, and it's not only one. There are many of those Jamaicans.
A lot.
Americans, the same way. If you look at the talent that we have, and you mentioned about talent, boxing in this country, we have won many international championships in boxing. So it's something that we need to really just if we can put our hands together. Just last night, the Minister of Sport launched the Namibia Profession Boxing Sports Awards, which is going to be taking place in March now this year. So it's a beginning of, we are starting something that our boxers can be able to compete and be rewarded and be recognized. So those are some of the things that we're doing together with our stakeholders.
All right. Since we are talking about the athletes, does NSC have strategies for discovering sports talent in rural areas for them to, in rural areas across the countries for them to take part in national teams?
Yes, surely with our strategic plan that is from 2018-2022, extended now for the next 2 years. We have reviewed that. We have 6 strategic objectives. One of them is mass participation, and then we also have another objective, which is talent identification into that. We also have one of the objectives being funding and self-sustainability. Infrastructure development is one of them. Human resource, where we want to make sure that what I've talked about, making sure that Namibians are accorded a chance to be educated into sports-related discipline. Those are some of the objectives that we have. Now, in talent identification, we want to make sure with the regional structure that we have within the Sports Commission that sports must be taken seriously. We have just now, in collaboration with the Ministry of Sport, of course, we have what we call the IPES, that is integrated physical education in sport related discipline, which is being introduced at school level, so that at least there is mass participation at school, but we also bring in the career development for the kids at a tender age, that they are prepared, but they also have a career guidance in terms of them being identified already from an early age. What kind of sport? This is why you have kiddie sports now in schools.
Exactly.
So we replicate that at the commission as well, where we, with the original structure that we have, we work together with our colleagues from the Ministry of Sport, where we ensure that sport is being taken deeper into the constituency. When we have the games, like for example, where we look at talent identification, we have a project like we call it the Namibia Youth Games.
Yeah.
The youth games will be taking place this year. It will be hosted here at UNAM.
When exactly, please?
I think it should be sometime in May and June, somewhere there. So
Interesting.
we will be here definitely at. We will make sure that we make use of this facility. So this is where we have 14 regions participating into different sports codes. This is about. I think next year we'll be having more than 10 sporting codes from football, volleyball, netball, swimming, rugby, hockey will be part of that. Wrestling. All the boxing is part of that. So about 10 sporting codes that we are having there. So these Namibians will be converging from all 14 regions next year. And then, this year anyway, will be converging so that we can then participate and ensure that we choose the best team from there. And that's where you now look at the talent. It's already nurtured at this level. We take them to what we call the Region 5 games where they participate. And then they go to the African games, which... we are sending already a team, I think, from the 5th of March to Ghana, where we are going to Ghana with a Namibian team that will be participating at the youth games, African youth games. So the team that is coming from the African games for the youth, these are under 17, under 20, have already been chosen last year. We went with them already in 2022 in Malawi. So that is the team that we went with in Malawi in Lilongwe. So that's part of the talent identification that we do. And we ensure that in that mass participation is part of it. Some of those.
That's very interesting. Wow, I'm getting a whole handful of information here. Some I didn't even expect to hear. But activators, considering that also this podcast mostly targets young people, I think this is the right information to also just take away home and so to say. Now, speaking of inclusivity and in the spirit of inclusivity, what is the NSC doing to promote sports participation amongst people with disabilities?
That is a very good question, and that's something very close to our hearts. From the Sports Commission already, what we did, we provide, as we speak now, disability or Namibia Paralympic Committee is housed at the Home of Sport, that's at the Sports Commission. We have given them, they don't pay for the rent, they don't pay for the water, as one of our affiliates. But then we work, of course, and we must give credit to we get our funding from government. But we also do solicit sponsorship where we assist our federation and guide them. So there's many things that we have, inclusivity in sport in terms of the disabled or athletes with disabilities. One of them, they are included into the National Sports Awards, where they receive equally the same amount of monies in the Sports Awards. The Sports Awards is an annual event. The Sportsman of the Year or the Sportswoman of the Year with a disability, similar naming, they each receive $100,000 each year if they win.
That's amazing.
That awards.
Wow.
So they get to be also, they can also be the winner of the Sports Star of the Year, where they walk away with a $200,000. So that's inclusivity for me.
Exactly.
We don't look at whether you are an athlete with a disability or a able body. As I speak to you now, my chief administrator, Mr. Muya, is just will be returning today from a governance workshop where we are giving guidance to the Namibia Paralympic Committee. It's being hosted in Ochivarongo for the past 2 days.
That's amazing.
So there we are giving training to our people within so that there's governance, there's accountability in terms of how they operate.
Exactly.
But more so, we also do funding. We have each year we have, and this is where we include everybody. Our athletes, Shikongo, you name all these guys. We go with them, we travel with them. We just went with them last year to the Regional Annual Sports Awards. I think I went with them it was in Eswatini. Wow. Where they walked away. Some of them winning prizes there for Namibia for themselves. So we fund them, we make sure that they are involved in every aspect, even within the youth games itself.
How often do we celebrate these achievements? Because
every year.
No, probably maybe you are not following it, but it's happening in this. Yes.
Wow, am I behind?
The
Like
Shikongos are always at our offices. Yes. They are actually, like I said, their offices are right there at the Sports Commission.
Okay.
So every aspect, funding for transport, for example, which is another aspect that I left. Whether it's people traveling with the buses going outside the country, the Sports Commission have about two. We have an Iveco and we have a small 14-seater.
Yeah.
And one of the federation that uses that bus almost for free, they only put in fuel, is Namibia Paralympic. They've traveled with it more often. Shikongo and all the guys have traveled with it. They
from NSC?
Yes, we have a driver, but at times because of the funding, we'll then say, okay, please cover the cost here because it cannot only be on us. So those are some of the things that we assist our federations. Yeah.
Wow. So there's
Speaking of NASA, FYI, NASA stands for Namibia Annual Sport Award, and it's a platform that owners recognizes the hard work of Namibian athletes. So what are the criteria you have? I mean, the criteria you have to, can you just tell us the process of getting the athletes to be nominated for the NASA?
All right. The athletes are nominated by federation. We have about 20 categories, from your sports star of the year, sportsmen and women of the year, sportsmen and women of the year with a disability, junior sportsmen of the year with a disability and able bodies. You have the team of the year, federation of the year. You have your people's choice, one of the categories where people get to vote. And then you have athlete, sports star of the year in the diaspora, where we involve the Shaluliles who are not playing locally here because of the competition. Some of the categories that we have. Of course, you also have, I think it's, what is this other category? You have a category where we talk about what is this category? We talk about the category for...
okay.
It's out of my mind now, but So some of the categories that we have there. Now, what happens that each category have a criteria.
Yeah.
For example, if you look at a sportsman of the year, this must have been a person who have done achievements at the highest level in terms of local events, must have participated at a local event locally in Namibia, must have competed at the regional level, that's at SADC, have competed within the SADC region between South African countries. They must have competed either at the African level, continental level, at the Commonwealth Games, at the Olympic level. So we have in that process now. The federation will submit. There's a criteria. They enter this via the app that we have at the Sports Commission with all the details and the requirements laid out clearly, and it's open to everybody. But they must go through the federations. Of course, then once they have selected, we have a committee of independent judges panelists who look at it. I think there are about 7 of them. So they look at it based on the criteria, and they've got a scorecard. So they will have to tick. The scorecard will go up to 200 points. So they tick. If you have participated and you have won a gold at this level, they tick, you get your point. You have got a silver at this level, they tick, you get a point, and total will go to the highest person with the scorecard. Also, how do you behave yourself as an athlete on and off the field of play? Those are some of the things that we put. So it's a very open process, and it's adjudicated, and there's an opportunity for people to appeal. I think within the 14 days after the event, you are able to appeal if you are left out and you feel you have been not done well. So this is a process that we have within the sports awards. And of course, we reward the athletes on the night. We invite the federation, those who have submitted, and we also invite our federations and umbrella bodies to attend, and key stakeholders. Of course, we thank really corporate Namibia for really supporting us. This event is very expensive.
Yeah.
When you talk of the sports awards, it's between $5.6 to $6 million that we spend on that night. So prize monies alone that goes to the athletes is 2.5 million. So it changes lives.
It does.
Athletes of different sports codes.
Athletes from all different sporting codes they get to compete there.
Speaking of all these competitions and all these sort of challenges, I would say, because then you're competing with fellow athletes, right? So I want to understand, because sometimes people might go out of hand. Being human is always human. How, with the ever-present threat of doping, how is the NSC working to maintain a clean sporting environment in Namibia?
Now, doping is one of the issues that we have, and it's very close to our hearts as well. Yeah. It's the role of the Sports Commission, of course, with government, and especially those federations that are involved into Olympics and Paralympic Games, to ensure that we educate our athletes in terms of them knowing what is it that they must take. What is it that there's a list. If you go onto WADA website, which the World Anti-Doping Agency, and NADA, which is NADO, which is an organization that we are forming here in Namibia, and the Namibia Anti-Doping Organization is being formed. We're busy finalizing that.
Great.
Just last weekend, there was an education on athletes, which was conducted by my colleague Vicky from. She's dealing with anti-doping in this country, of course, in collaboration with the Namibia National Olympic Committee. So we do encourage and we do educate our athletes. We do educate our officials that they should not be taking, performance drugs that could enhance their performance, because at the end of the day, that have a repercussion in terms of their performance. They could be charged. They could be, banned for quite a long number of years, not participating. It could even cause the end of their careers. So from our side, and in as much as the public don't know about this, I will give you an example of an athlete like Shikongo.
Yes.
Or what is our athlete who is more onto marathon? Helaria.
Okay.
Johannes, for example. Olmboma, Siringi. Even Ndawana Haitembo. These are the athletes that almost on weekly, sometimes they get surprises from the World Anti-Doping Agency. They will just come in, jet into the country, and they ask them. This is why even when they go somewhere, so when you hear Hilaria is telling you, I cannot take that cool drink at a party, don't think that she's selfish.
It's true.
It is the rules, because at times they are not even allowed to go into those places where people are drinking, because they could even be poisoned. Put something there and then they take. And sometimes when they even travel, even the country, they will tell you, oh, I'm traveling to the north. So the World Anti-Doping Agency have to be informed where she is going, what kind of food. And they could visit her in Novemberland while she is there. They just knock on the door. We are here. And then announce. They come unannounced. It does happen here.
Wow.
Yes. They have an office in Egypt, and they also have another sub-office in South Africa here. So this is how we monitor and we make. And we are happy from Namibia that we have a clean sport. Our athletes are determined. We have no case of doping in Namibia thus far, and I think that's something to be very proud of as Namibians.
Can you just let me understand the sports structure of Namibian Sports Organization? So we have the Ministry of Sports, which is the line ministry.
Yes.
Then under that is NSC.
Yes. So the line ministry, Ministry of Sport, Youth and National Service. Then we have the Sports Commission, and then we have the umbrella bodies. So your umbrella bodies will be, for example, the TISAN, the Tertiary Institution School Sport of Namibia. We have the NNOC. We have the Namibia Paralympic Committee. You have those are some of the umbrella bodies. So in order for you to be an umbrella body, you must have a different sporting codes that are affiliated to you. That you multi-sporting codes that you control or that resort with you. And then you have the federations. The federation, this is where you'll have your boxing, your swimming, your wrestling, your karate, you name it, all those guys, they are also falling under the federations. And then you have your clubs. Your clubs, they feed the federations. So that's the structure that we have in Namibia in terms of, and within the federations, we have what we call national elections that happens almost, they are about, if a person is selected to serve on executive, must not serve over 10 years, which is something that we are really trying to review in the new act, so that at least we can, because we are losing out on the talent. If you look at other countries, some people go even up to 20, 30 years serving there because of that expertise overbuilt over the years. So these are some of the things that happens. But in order for a person to serve on the executive of the organization, must be a member of must be a Namibian citizen. And the federation must register with the Sports Commission. Of course, they must send in their constitution, their regulation, their laws and regulation, the bylaws must be submitted to the commission. But also, they affiliate to international federations. For example, football, they affiliate to FIFA. Namibia, Namibia Basketball Association, they affiliate to FIBA. There is also an association to local, organization in Africa, in SADC as well. And the Sports Commission, we are also a member of what we call the Namibia Africa Union Sports Council Region 5, where all 14 regions of countries of Africa, Southern Africa, are affiliated. So that's some of the structures within the sport fraternity. Yes.
I understand that there are three main categories of sports codes, which are the top-ranking national sport codes,
yes,
priority sports code, and the development sport code. How do you organize the different kinds of sports codes into those categories?
Great. There was a ranking done already in 2018. It was reviewed, I think, in 2021, 2022. It was taken to cabinet, of course, with the recommendation from the Sports Commission, of course, in consultation with the ministry, our line ministry, the Minister of Sport, Youth and National Service. So at the moment, we have about 3 sporting codes. That's Namibia football, netball, and rugby. These are ranked as the national sport codes. So it means with these sporting codes, our priority is given to them in terms of the funding, in terms of the assistance for fly, in terms of, because they are compelling all political games that are hosted at sports level, and where if we don't participate, for example, as a country, we are given a fine, and sometimes a fine is even more higher than you having to not have participated. You would have participated with a 5 million. Yeah. It will take us a budget of 6 to 7 million for the brave warriors to camp in South Africa for a weekend to go and participate. That day when you see them playing, they might have spent already just a 7 million over that weekend. That's how expensive it is.
Wow.
And then now you have your priority sporting codes. You look at wrestling, boxing, you look at Paralympic sport, athletics, and all those, they are falling there. Then you have the developmental codes where you have, and then you have the rest following under the others. But we do assist all these codes when finances are available and where there's really a need for it, because sport bring assist in terms of national development, revenue for the country as well. When we host international events here, the international federation have to pump in money. Exactly. And so you will be seeing in future that Namibia, we are hosting Region 5 games next year. That is in 2025. It will be hosted here at UNAM. As we speak now, our team is busy working. We are working with a team from University of Namibia here in preparation of this game. So when you see the 2025 games being hosted, it's not something that is done overnight.
It's not overnight.
It's 2-3 years planning and a lot of resources and it changes. It really brings in, it makes a difference in terms of your infrastructure, your skills development to those people that are able to host international. And that's the only opportunity that we are able to host bigger games, like the dreams that we had on hosting the AFCON. These things will come in future, but we need to build on our expertise, we need to build on our infrastructure, we need to make sure that there's funding available locally.
Interesting. Wow, Mr. Chainda. This discussion can never end. I mean, we are really appreciated to the fact that you have really just simplified NSC to us and the activators as well as the listeners to the UNAM radio station. However, we are pressed a bit by time, but I also want to take this time and just applaud you on the fact that you really are, well vested with your, well informed of your organization. It's something we don't really regularly see like that, unless you have 10 years experience, maybe. Is that it? Is that the secret?
Thank you. I've been long in the sports industry. I left and then got back again.
Okay.
Yeah, but I've got, I think when I got into sport, I thought it was just for fun and job. But I've with the time, the passion grew in, and for me, I'm a philanthropist. I'm a person who wants to change lives and make a difference in people's lives, and I'm happy to be in sport. I think I'm happy where I am.
That's great.
We can only grow and help our country go to another level.
Yeah, you can really be assured that we are going to have you back here, given the fact that we having sports again in the coming months of the year. However, before we close up this interview, could you have perhaps maybe just give the activators just that takeaway a few statements, or so to say? Yeah.
Very key one. Since we are at the University of Namibia, there is opportunity for people to study sports and sport-related disciplines. not only sports management, different discipline. We have those study loans that are open with NASFAF. Please do apply with NASFAF. You can apply either outside Namibia, at any university, sports nutrition, sports science, sports medicine, all those other sports infrastructure development, architecture. Do study so that we can help to build our own country. We must have our own people that are able to manage the pitches and all maintenance of the sports stadium. So that's my take home. Please get to know our offices. We are in Eros. Our number is 061 246 105. You can always reach us on our website and our social media pages. Please make a date with us. You can also drop us an email at marketing@Namibia Sports Commission, Namibia Sports, namibiasport.org. You can send us an email. We'll definitely revert back to you. But let's engage. Let's get to know. If you want to know more about us, we're really open. We are there to serve the nation.
Okay, cool.
Very well. Now we have a clear picture of how this organization ticks, how it supports athletes, and maybe even learned a few tricks to navigate the sports world like a pro. Remember, fam, knowledge is power, and with this newfound understanding of the NSC, you are equipped to chase your athletic dreams head on. Don't forget to follow the NSC on social media. Are we on social media?
Yes.
Very well. And stay informed about upcoming events and opportunities. And hey, if you have any bargaining questions or burning questions about the NSC, hit us up on the comments. We'll sure enough to send them through. Till next time, stay active, stay inspired, and keep that activated talk spirit. Thank you so much, Mr. CHALO CHAINDA, for being here today.
Thank you. Pleasure.
It was an honor having you.
Yeah.